I had been on a journey, as you know,
Right.
right? It couldn't be 55 years old soon. And I
know.
started thinking about what I thought I wanted to achieve in life and why I was working so hard. And then did I have my, beacon kind of, was I pointing in the wrong direction? And then I turned around and I got to where I thought I wanted to go. And I said, was I really striving for the right goals? And I think, especially for young guys, that are trying to grow their careers, I have a nephew and young agents that work here, they're all thinking wealth, success, winning. These are the types of things they want to win, right? So what's winning? So I started thinking, like lots of us, me in the past, thought winning was a lot of money, sure, a big house, fancy cars, beautiful gal, watches, materialistic things, and then you get there and you look around and you're like, this isn't necessarily winning. This is materialistic. Yes, you need money. You want money for retirement. You want to be able to take care of your family and that. But like, when I think of you, lots of winners don't get the attention. Like people see me and probably think I'm winning, but I see you. You're under the radar. You're truly winning. Married how many years?
25.
There you go.
25
years married.
Yeah.
Solid lockdown partner. You love each other. And the relationship you have with your son.
Yep.
See?
That's it.
You guys are like three amigos. I mean, you guys go on vacations together. And so I thought I would like share it with everyone out there, like, especially the young guys that are trying to grow up. Like, be careful what you're striving for, because you'll get there. And I have friends like you, and I'm lucky. I'm not empty at the top. But
Six, man. Remember I told you six.
well, go ahead. So
Six is all you get. My father told me you get 6 guys. That's all you get your whole life. You get your whole life to find 6 people to carry your coffin. And those are the guys that will always be done. Those are the ones.
you need 8 in case you lose 2.
Well, you could.
Are they all?
You gotta have a couple of reserve spots, but you could find.
All right. So how did you do it?
Well, I mean, look, the main thing, as a young man, right, winning is wealth, right? I mean, that you equate it to that. I want to do this. I want to, but the way that I was brought up, the way your old school was brought up with Pete and your mom, is you want to make them happy. You want to respect their name and their tradition. So you follow that path in one instance of being a good person. Then you want to kind of one up it by having a little bit more security. And Las Vegas New Orleans is different from Las Vegas. So success in Las Vegas is different than success in New Orleans, right? Vegas is flashy. Vegas has the cars. Vegas is the house. Vegas is the watches, everything else. Where I grew up, success was family. Success was moral.
Sunday dinner.
Sunday dinner.
It was always locked down. You knew the time. You didn't even say.
No, you had no choice.
Didn't matter what game was up.
Didn't matter if you're out of town or if you're up in college or at school. I get it. You had a girlfriend. My brother had a wife. Your Sunday dinner.
Stretching the table.
That's just the way it is.
Take socks out.
We also had an advantage of not having social media, phones. We didn't have to sustain a public image in growing up. You and I mean, we're only a year apart. But, if they had cameras when we were 15, 16, 18 years old, we probably wouldn't be in the positions we're in today. Because we get a lot of dumb shit, right? Like it just happens. It's just not on video. And there's a lot of people out there that can relate to this with us. Here, there's so much social media pressure that makes people miss the big picture. It's the next bikini. It's the next watch. It's the next house.
Yes, I'll show you.
And it's all staged. Half of the shit that you see on Instagram are people that are on a stage show walking into half of a jet, sitting in a jet seat, going to the picture, and then they jump on Southwest to Spirit. I mean, but that's the pressure between Vegas. And my wife and I have had these conversations on several occasions because I like to get wrapped up in the social media. I like the likes. I like the comments. I like to get on Facebook and do dumb shit and say dumb shit. She says you bring attention to yourself. Why do you want to do that? Blah, 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 blah. People judge themselves on social media.
Do you think you would have focused at that dinner table if you had run these?
No.
we've all lost, we've all lost our attention span.
Oh, sure.
We're all,
Computers that are
yeah, and we're not plugged in.
No.
We're not plugged in. And is there any hope that we ever get that back?
I think there is. I think it starts at home. I think it starts as, and you're doing a great job with your daughter. And I see you guys on social media. And I told you last night, I see the way she looks at you and kind of watches everything that's going on. When she sees the relationship that you have with your folks. And Ethan saw, unfortunately, my father passed away when Ethan was a baby, but he saw the relationship I had with my mom for about 10 years, 13 years going into that, and respects that. And I think it starts at home. I think, telling someone, put your phone away, don't do it, it's going to cause them more time. They're going to look at it more. I think it's just naturally that you do that. There's a couple of restaurants I've gone into where they take your phone.
Yeah. Bruno Mars takes your phone, puts in a Ziploc. But like for me, when I post with my daughter, there's a couple reasons. One, I have family, I can't text everybody.
No, those are the
right?
goofies.
Yeah, I mean it's basically like an update of how are you doing,
Yeah,
right?
those are the new no.
Yeah, yeah. It's the new VCR tape,
Sure.
and then my cousins in Greece and aunts and uncles, and then it's basically the daily Christmas card.
Yeah.
It shows your kids growing up,
and they like to see that.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, with that, George, what happens is you're doing it with the reason of spreading the relationship to your sphere of influence and your friends on your social media, right? The problem is that people outside of that realm look at it as show off, and that's not the intention. And that's not the intention with a lot of people that you see on social media. But unfortunately, that's some of the pressure that you do see. The next hottest listing just sold in a day. I'm the greatest. I'm top. Whatever. Those are the things. That's the pressure that the social
because
media.
they wanted to get there though. They joined a brokerage. I was one of them. The guy's name was at the top.
Of course.
I was the bottom, and I wanted to get there. And as soon as I got there, and they didn't have social media back then, but if I could have flipped my phone around and said, look at me at the top, I would have, because that's that, the goal.
Yeah, everybody, if they try hard enough and they focus hard enough, can be number one. But there's nowhere to go once you're there. So the pressure of keeping that number one, or
I did it for 10 years. I can't.
It's a long
yeah,
fall.
it's not sustainable, and you have to get used to looking in the mirror, which you're not.
And you start, you can get there and say you achieved it. I got there. I did what I need to do. But a lot of put our priorities in line really quick, and early on, our relationship in the beginning was food and beverage, 30,000 a year, 30 hours a year, 30,000 a year, 80 hours a week.
So there's only going up from there.
It's making $1.50 an hour, pretty much is what it comes out to, because she factored in there, she figured it out, and it was, it was swing shifts, it was late nights, it was holidays, it was every day you can imagine, and running restaurants, it just happened. So, we work together as partners, and it is a partner. It's a great relationship, but it's almost like the Morganti business. I mean, it is a partnership. Decisions are made, good, bad, or indifferent, as a partner. And there's a lot of no, don't do it, and it's done anyway. Or yeah, let's do it, and then we don't do it. So I think, the young guys, right? They see you as a leader, as a broker, as an LVR president that's been at success at the highest level. There's no doubt about it. They don't see the blood, sweat, and tears that went into it. They don't see. That's why whenever I go on vacations, and I do the vacations, and I hear a comment, "Oh, he's on vacation again," I'll be happy to post. I'll be happy to post 350 days of me in the office. And
I'll let everybody know.
Yeah.
I see your car in front of the open houses.
Yeah.
You meet your agents, bring the donuts.
Yeah.
You show the homes.
I go open
that,
houses.
That's the restaurant guy.
Oh yeah, sure.
And I think that's the difference.
Yeah.
You and I have that. So we did the get there at 6 a.m. and go home at 10 p.m. And these new cats, they come in here and they're like, I want to make 200 or 300K a year. I'm like, it's easy, right? But they don't come in till 10.
Yeah.
And they can't wait to leave till.
And social media makes it seem like it's so easy. They really do. It really does. And it's not that easy. you know, and I shouldn't say social media, you know, these reality shows.
Oh,
You know, you started listing New York, you know, 30 minutes, they're eating the Cobb salad, they're having a bottle of Chardonnay, and
I
walking outside at a 300.
I watch their shows sometimes, and it's so staged, it's so whatever, and I'm like, dude, I sold so much more than those guys. Like, you know, ain't nobody following me around asking me like, how was my English muffin?
And
You know what I'm saying?
the main thing I tell my new agents, and I strictly go after food and beverage. Like I love food and beverage.
For teammates.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, they're
For
right.
team leads,
But you know the one thing you got to teach them is in food and beverage. Like if you're a bartender or waiter,
yeah.
you have a short window of time that you kiss ass.
Oh yeah.
You. Hey, I'm Robert. I'm your waiter. Smile. Hey, flat water or sparkling. But,
And then you have the weeds, and then you got 6 of them going at one time.
but then you do that. But you put on a show, and then when the check comes, they give you the tip. You say thank you. I don't like it when they open and see what you left. That pisses me off. By the way, that's a turn off for me. But then they're gone. In real estate, the relationship is longer. They're buying or selling. It's a month to 3 to 6, and then you're supposed to nurture them throughout, right? So I think the difference when you get a food and beverage guy or gal that was like a waiter or bartender, you have to say, okay, you got the customer service, you got to get a tip, you know how to put service on. You got to learn how to like taper that down so it's sustainable for a longer period of time. Because a waiter can kiss your butt for an hour and a half.
Look at Margot. Let's look at Margot. I mean, come on. Like, I opened up Sunset Station with Margot
The other day,
I know.
she's 70 some years.
And she knows us, and she knows the kids, and she says hi, tells us great stories. Like we have to go fish night with 5.
Put Valentine stuff on the tip.
She used to do the fish, but that's the type.
They don't
of
make
fish.
us like Margot.
They don't.
Don't.
They don't.
The world is not as good.
And look at Carlo. Same thing. It knows you when you walk in. Like it's like Cheers. Like I was brought up that there's nothing better than hearing your own name.
They got to know.
You know,
Magic.
So when you are under that pressure and you're talking to new agents, you're talking to anybody in any kind of service industry, I consider real estate a service industry as well. I mean, because you are providing a service, different level, different entree, right? But the basic thing is, you know, if you could give one tip that I try to talk to agents is the first thing you try to sell to a new buyer or to a new seller is yourself. You know, the house is there.
They do it.
Yeah, it doesn't move.
Yeah,
It's just there. And your first goal is to get your buyer to buy you and to trust you and to listen to your expertise, because we are experts in the industry. We're licensed, right? So we're held to a higher level, ethically, morally.
Some of us more than others.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And they all should be elevated to one level. But, you know, you have to get them, that's success. That's a great definition of success. If the client buys you, if you have the gift and you have the ability to sell yourself, your trust, a piece of your trust to a family you just met, especially now when you're doing BBAs in the beginning on the upfront, it takes a lot more energy. It's a little bit more trustworthy. Why am I,
Well, you make it sound like so yourself. I always flip it around and be like, tell me about you.
Oh, no, absolutely. Yeah.
Tell me about you. Why'd you call? Where are you coming from? How many kids you have? And then when they hear that you're digging into them and saying like, not, the big mistake, how much, how many beds, how many baths, vanilla, they're like, they look at me like a commission check. Yeah. I look at them like they're a life. Yeah. They're going to raise the kids. Which bedroom's the kids?
Absolutely. Tell you pick the rooms.
Yeah, you do that. Like you said, the house is the house.
The first question I ask my sellers when I walk into a listing review and introduce myself, like, where are you going to go? And they're kind of taking it back. Like, what do you care where I'm going to go? I said, because I have to care. Yeah. Because we're going to put a sign in the front yard. We're going to sell this house. You're going to find out in a day, 30 days, that you're going to have to figure it out. So that's why I want to plan for you. And I really genuinely care.
A lot of people just stop numbers and never ask. Then the contract comes and people are like, I got to move. And you're like,
I got to move from that.
I know.
From that. So it's important to, going back to the success and these, I say younger agents, but they're not always younger. I mean, they're new to the business. So agents that are newer to the business, the success is is watches, is a comfortable lifestyle. You know, I base my success on, did I do better than last year? If not, it's okay. What could I have done different? If I lose a listing, I have no problem picking up the phone, calling that seller, saying, "Hey, congratulations, see you listed your home. Got a great agent there. What could I have done different?"
You learn from it.
And that's it. And I take that and I watch that and I learn from that. It makes me better on the next presentation. You know, the guy told me I did this. I did, you know, maybe I talked too much. Maybe I didn't let them stress, you know, little things that you listen
I bet lots of times they weren't ready to listen to you.
No, and you know, the greatest thing about being success, being open to constructive criticism. You know, you could be really hard on yourself, but when someone else is giving you good advice and you may not take, you have to listen, you have to take it. And another thing of success is they surround themselves with successful people. I mean, you're a prime example of that. You got some great guys here with Rick and Cheryl and Yvette, all, you know, all those guys that are just there to support you, but they're very successful in their own right. So they all make you look good. Delilah makes me look good on the marketing side. She's hiding behind the scenes, but she drives the traffic. She works the leads. She does all the marketing. She builds the website. She looks at the algorithm, does the backlinking, does the code board, does the Google search, you know, does all that behind the scenes. That makes me successful.
Yeah, it takes two, right? It's back of the house or front of the house.
Absolutely.
So not so much about business, but like, so, you know, I went to leadership in Tahoe and I called you.
Yeah.
Got crushed.
Yeah.
Got crushed.
It's real.
This guy might, you know, put you through this thing where you basically die.
Yep.
And you look down, you come back down, and you really do, the way he takes you through it, you really do feel like you're up there looking down. And the thing is, you look at like your funeral, and you start looking at like who's there. And, you know, you assume you know this, right? Once you're gone, you can't go back and say, "I'm sorry, thank you, I love you." And so the lesson for me, a lot of it was with what I'm going to do with my child, right? I didn't feel like I had it. I didn't feel like I, you know, was giving the right, but
It is. Yeah.
better, not there.
It's progress. It's process.
But it flipped me, and I called Leslie and I told her, I said, "Hey, if I die tomorrow, and there's a few, do not put C in blackjacks. Don't do it.
Yeah.
I don't want her more. Yeah. She's beautiful. She wears her colors. She's flowery. I want her. That's who she is. Sure. I want her to be that." And she's like, "Well, you tell, you know." And I'm like, I'm not ready. And she's like, "Well, that's your thing." It's like, my dad has a prepared beat, right? You know, my dad is peak that he was. The day's coming. That'll be the big grow up moment. I know it was for you.
Yeah. We talked about this last time.
Yeah, it's the big grow up moment. It's coming to me later in life. You know, I'm grateful for that. But you don't get another shot at it, you know? And like even you and I, we've been friends a long time, but I'm closer to you than I've ever been because I've invested. Right? I've absolutely accepted like what you have to say. You know,
I not like it all the time.
So no, you're tough. You're tough, but you also hear me out, and you don't judge, and you don't judge, and so you know when you die, I'll be in the front row because you gave it
for my wife. Would you be?
Stop, Tony, you're terrible. The front row, okay? And because you gave it to me, you been there for me. You know what I'm saying? And if you didn't, yeah, I'd be there. But it'd have been another funeral that I didn't want to go to. And I'd say he was a great guy. He was a good businessman. But no, I know you different now because of those difficult conversations we had, you know? And so I've been, you know, my new journey isn't more money. I want to keep what I got, maybe make a little more. But I want to, you know, fortify the relationships I have. I want to make sure I'm the best son I can to my parents. I'll get it to my every day. So, and I don't want to procrastinate. Like I'm thinking like, you know, like, okay, today, if I could tell 4 or 5 people, "Hey, how are you doing?" And you know what, you can say, "Hey, how are you?" And they go, "Oh, good." And you know, you get something kind of handshake. Sit down. Really? Like, how is it at home? How's the money? Like, you got to break it down. Like people don't want to give it to you, but if they have a problem, they're not going to tell you unless you literally say, I'm not asking how are you just to check the box. Like, I'm asking you, like, you want to share with me what's going on. And if you have something that's going on that's wrong, or you got a problem with your wife, or your kids are acting up, or substance, or whatever, here I am, you know? And so that's my new thing is like my nephew's 16. I guarantee he's got a secret.
Oh,
Right?
what?
2 or 3 secrets. I go, how you doing? Good. I could leave it there.
Yeah.
No, AP. Like, really? Like, are you burying something? Are you burying? Because I had those little pills that were doing bad things. And like, if somebody would have like asked me, I might have said, and then I might have been like, okay, I can get out of this. Find me a way out of this. I owe money, whatever, you know, whatever dumb things was, you know, borrowed something I shouldn't have borrowed. You know?
Yeah.
But anyways, so that's it, man. Like I want to try to take this last stretch and
He's got an interesting stat. I saw if you're over 55 years old, you have 25% of your life left.
yeah, is that one I put out with the projects? You got to finish the project.
Yeah,
No.
it was another one I saw yesterday. It's the same concept. So you're looking based on like a 72, 74 year age range, right? And I was thinking about that yesterday. And I told Delilah, I'm like, are we like we got to figure it out. Like,
Yeah, you're 3/4 of the way.
we're 3/4 done. Like,
Yeah, and if you lift 100, the last 25 is where you suck.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. We're exactly.
Literally, like the next 10 is going to be your best.
Oh, the next. So once Ethan finishes school, get him situated. You know, look, you're always going to helicopter, right? I don't care what anybody says. He's going to do his own thing. You know, success. Another thing for Delilah and I is to make sure that he's set for success, not to sport. Like he's spoiled, right? Like again, like I'm not gonna like I'll
Be bare.
but he's not. He's not needy. Like he does his own thing.
Yeah.
And I sat him down one day. I think it was like she was 10 or 11, maybe 12 years old. And I said, look, Ethan, I said, here's the deal. I said, and he did something that was fucked up. And told him, I said, look, you made a bad decision. I said, me and Mom can only tell you what's right and wrong. You know, we can only say this is right, this is wrong. You need to decide which one you want to do.
What was the age where you saw him? Because now it's like she goes to the bathroom. Did you wash your hands? Right? And you're like, and then here and there you catch her in a little fib, and you're like, hey, like you're your own boss here. Like I'm not going to ask you every time, did you wash your hands? Did you brush your teeth? Like, at what point do you see those steps where like they start becoming independent and you pull back the reins and you're not like micromanaging? Because I think the micromanaging makes them not want to learn to do it by themselves because you're always the one. You're like, look, you're going to get sick, you're going to wash your hands, you catch something, and you're not going to be able to play basketball.
I would
Like-
probably got tired of hearing it, and probably around 60, 50. You know, you just do it. It's just a natural thing. And of course, only child, right? So
Those guys-
we had one shot at it, and we wash your hands. But you're not going to inlet.
But now it's like,
Don't play with your food.
don't say,
No.
you know, overspend. Like a chain, right? They're like,
Yeah.
like my daughter, if you gave her money, she'd spend every penny.
Yeah.
Right?
He makes good decisions, you know, and that's important. And, you know, that's important to us. That's one of the success beacons that we look at is the decisions that he makes. Not because he's a goody-goody, right?
Yeah, no,
Furthest thing from it.
No.
Like,
Because he wouldn't be a kid.
no, he wouldn't. No, but
But if you and Delilah, something happened tomorrow,
Mhm.
he has the fundamentals.
it's good.
He's got to handle the money, but continue to grow his thing. So you have peace going up there, knowing that you've done the work.
Oh, yeah.
That's the exercise. If you've done enough here today with the people that you care about, that you have not.
I know. I mean, but both of my family,
Yeah.
with the friends,
You're always trying to do better. Yeah. Yeah. Your son gets 99%, right? And then you got a little left, and then, yeah, of course. But I'm saying, like, that's the mission.
Yeah.
Is to make sure when you're gone,
Yeah.
you don't get another staff. And of course, there's tiers of people you got to do first because there's people we choose. But there could be somebody that's away from the group that's equally important. They're human, and I don't know. I like to make sure I try to help as many as I can.
Yeah, and I think that's great. I think you the leader when you called me on leadership and we kind of went through it, and you had a different outlook. Like you didn't care about number one. You didn't care about one. Like something clicked, and we talked about this before. Something clicked, either after leadership or something that put your it changed. No, it's easy to say. It's easy to change some things around when you've got the success, right? You know, that's what people say. You know, you strive your whole life to get there. We've got it. Now it's okay. Now I'm bored with it. But now I want to do good things, right? Would you be in the same position if you were still a newer agent wanting to do this? And
No, I'm lucky. I'm lucky because I think about the guy with the 8 to 5 job.
yeah, it's
How
easy.
he raises his kid.
It's easy for us to kind of take a back seat and say, okay, look, this is what we're going to focus on now, because we kind of achieved what we wanted to do when we were 15, 18 years old, to the point of roof over our heads, little additional cash flow to do some nice things, good family, you know, time with your folks. You got all that. So now it's not necessarily writing a check to a charity. That's easy to do. Showing up at a charity event and bidding on something, that's easy to do. But sitting down and genuinely caring, talking to someone, that's hard to do. It's hard to do, and that's you can't put a value on it. That's a valuable, not only to you to grow as an individual, which isn't a selfish reason, but it's important to that one person at Hughes Net.
You don't realize how good you have it
Oh yeah.
until you look at what the other people have, right? You and I have flexibility to work, you bucks. You can, when your son calls, take his call. If you tell the seller, call back later, and you will. You take your son's call. But guess what? When you're working for the man and you're 8 to 5, and your son has a down moment, you might not be able to tell your boss.
Oh, it's already graduation.
Yeah. And so I am mindful of how blessed I am now and how tough other people. There's like parents that are both work 8 to 5.
Right.
Then they come home, they gotta do the homework, make dinner, they're on a budget.
Right.
Like, talk about tough.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's probably the majority of this country.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we are not the norm,
No.
but we had to give on the front end, right? We had to give up front to get to this. And so, I don't know, I think all of it is like, be grateful for what you have.
Yeah, there was a lot of sacrificing to get to today.
Yeah.
There's a lot of painful shit to get to where we are today. It's not this easy.
No.
It looks easy because social media makes it look easy, but we didn't have social media growing up. I didn't see you dropping fries in the restaurant and mopping floors and cleaning the clip of the. I still got burn marks. I made beignets my whole career, like in high school.
I know.
You know, you grow up in that. But yeah, and I think it's important. That's good. I'm happy for you that's kind of the path you're going to take, because you told me some things are going to be changing this year, and you got some new outlooks on stuff. You're going to pump the brakes a little bit and start focusing not only on you, okay, focusing on your daughter, which is really important, mom and dad, sister, nephew. Like, you got a bunch of things you got to go through. So
I have to be efficient with my time, because between donating my time to the association and still operating this company and then the family,
that's why a lot of people are relying on.
there's no time for me to just
I know.
sit.
I know.
Like, I have to make sure like the 8 hours or 12 hours in the day is used well, because I don't have 3 to blow watching a show.
No.
I don't have it. I'm not doing it. So, hey, thanks for coming, man. I love you, brother. I love you.
Love you too, man. No, I do.